caution, plan, do, review. Know this saying, ready, ... aim. And what comes next? Fire, right. That's the way it's usually put, but there's a better way. Ready, fire, aim. The problem with ready, aim, fire is that in the real world, where everything is in motion and things are constantly changing, by the time you've finished all that readying and aiming, the target is long gone. Here's another way of saying ready, fire, aim, plan, do, review, plan, do. Review is an approach to learning that began gaining credibility in educational institutions toward the end of the 20th century, and it's used in some of the better schools today. It's a slight edge strategy. Students plan what they're going to learn and create their own activities and experiments for study. Then, they do what they planned, and then they review their planning and doing too, see if anything was missing to help them learn what could be done to improve the process and the results they've accomplished. Then they plug those new insights into their next plan, and they're off and running up the slight edge curve to success. The operative slight edge strategy at work here is the constant and consistent back and forth of doing actions and correcting those actions course correction, just like the moon rocket. What this strategy produces is what business management philosophy has come to call continuous improvement, a concept that the Japanese call kasen. This idea was introduced to Japan after World War II by an American, W. Edwards Deming, a remarkable statistician. Dr. Deming consulted and lectured Japanese industrial leaders about total quality. He taught that the system is the solution and showed how it's always the source of the problem as well. Remember what happened to the Japanese and American auto industries in the 70s and 80s. The Japanese ate America's lunch in the marketplace. Know why? Slight edge strategy. They had it. We didn't. The Japanese took Deming's slight edge teachings about simple little disciplines in improving quality, compounded them over time, and in less than a decade, they blew the much larger, richer, and more powerful industry leader, the United States, out of the water. So far out of the water, in fact, that the top-selling car in America for years was the Honda. It wasn't that the Americans didn't improve. The 1983 Chevy was clearly superior to the 1973 Chevy. But General Motors kept looking for those big breakthroughs, while the Japanese kept making little, seemingly insignificant improvements, which, compounded over time, enabled them to steal the spotlight in what was once almost exclusively an American car show. The Japanese had major automotive breakthroughs, too, but they were the result of their slight edge strategy. In the 1990s, the American auto industry made quite a comeback. Great cars, record sales, and profits. It was a stunning turnaround, and what turned it around were our automakers finally embracing the teachings of W. Edwards Deming, that a commitment to developing and sticking to a slight edge strategy will absolutely, positively, send you to the top. Plan, do, review, and ready. Fire, aim. Creates a structure and support system for continuously improving. It's the strategy of constant course correction. You may have heard the expression, it's not how you plan your work, it's how you work your plan. Not quite. A slight edge strategy means doing both at once. One tiny, course-correcting step at a time. The slight edge is the process. You choose which way it goes, up with the 5%, or down with the other 95%. You don't just make that choice once, and then say, hey, I'm finished. Now I'm all set. You make that choice moment to moment to moment and keep making it every month and every day for the rest of your life. Each new moment will present you with a new slight edge choice to be made. Before long, it will become natural and automatic. But when you first begin, it will require your constant awareness. You have to choose to make the slight edge work for you moment by moment, one step at a time. Remember, the rocket to the moon. Is it easy to do? Yes. Is it easy not to do? Of course. If you don't do it, will your life collapse? No, not today. But that simple error in judgment, compounded over time, will pull you down the failure curve. Absolutely and irrevocably, no questions asked. Unless you accept the wealthy man's third gift, the choice, and keep on accepting it, day by day and moment by moment. Learning through modeling earlier, I mentioned that there are 3 principal types of learning. We've examined the first 2, learning through study and learning through doing. And you're probably wondering if we're ever going to get around to the third. In a way, I've saved the best for last, because utilizing this third type of learning will tremendously accelerate the first 2. It is knowledge through modeling. Throughout human history, and long before there were such things as books, universities, or continuing education programs, there has been one tried and true path for learning a skill, craft, art, trade, or profession. Go study with a master. All the great learning traditions say the same thing. If you want to learn how to do something well, go find a master of that skill and apprentice yourself. Like the coaching model, the mentor-apprentice model is experiencing a tremendous surge in popularity right now. Mentoring networks, agencies, and organizations are springing up in all sorts of professions, and this doesn't surprise me in the least. With the advent of the internet culture, there's been an explosion in information over the past decade. Now we're starting to realize that information alone is not enough, and information plus personal experience, the school of hard knocks, is not enough. We need some way to process all that information and experience and integrate it. And there is only one reliable, solid way to do that. Find someone else or a community of people who have already mastered an area and model yourself based on their experience. A lack of community is the largest criticism of personal development. As listed in Wikipedia's definition, your personal development has to be a contact sport where you are in contact with others that can help you on your journey. It has already been proven that information and technology alone are not going to create real change. Today, we see information on health soaring, and yet we have seen an increase in obesity, adult-onset diabetes, and other preventable diseases. We see information on finances everywhere, yet a rise in debt and mismanaged money. Information needs to be coupled with a community to have any real, life-changing effects. Let's look at an example where information and community are coupled together to create real change in people's lives. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, is a successful rehabilitation program because it provides all the information needed on the condition and marries that with a community of people to support the member. If it only handed out DVDs and brochures and put up a website about the disease and left it at that, how many people do you think would actually recover? Not many. Of course, a member needs the information, but what makes the program truly work is the environment and associations that are created around that person. The same is true for personal development and any change we want to see in our life. It has to consist of information and a supportive environment. Whatever goals you aspire to, just seek out people who have achieved the same or very similar goals, or who are well along that path, and go camp on their doorsteps, or do whatever you can to associate with them, emulate them, and let their grasp, understanding, and mastery of the subject rub off on you. Spend time with the masters if you want to raise the quality of your life. Hang out with people who have been there and done that. If you want to be a great public speaker, spend time with great speakers. If you want to be a success in business, then find a way to spend time in the company of successful business people. If it's important to you to be a terrific parent, the best thing you can do to further that aim is to spend lots of time with men and women who have mastered parenting. You can define a society by the heroes it keeps. You can also define a person by the heroes he or she keeps. Who are your heroes? Who are you modeling yourself after? The 95% on the failure curve tend to accept the heroes society plants in front of them. Film stars, America's version of royalty. Rock stars, sports stars. I can certainly admire these folks, but I always ask myself, can I emulate them? Practically speaking, can I convert my admiration into constructive modeling that increases my learning and moves my own life forward? Too often, we make heroes out of people who can't help us, whose lives are fantasies, not genuine role models. Take a look at who your heroes are, write down a list, and examine it. Ask yourself, can I become like them? Are these people doing the kinds of things that I aspire to do and living the kinds of lives that I aspire to live? Can they really help me become who I want to become? Find people who've done what you want to do and surround yourself with them. That's learning through modeling, and it's a powerful part of learning how to understand and use the slight edge. Once you become worthy of being modeled, you, in essence, become the teacher. And if you teach long enough, people begin to look at you as a master. The problem is that most people want to go from learning to becoming the teacher. They don't want to bother with having to learn the activities well enough to be modeled. The quarterback position in football is a great example. First, he has to learn the playbook. Secondly, he takes those plays from the chalkboard to the practice field. And if he is good enough at implementing his learned knowledge, the team eventually looks to him as a leader.